first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. L-A-D-I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want, unbossed. Speak what you want, unbossed. Speak what you want, unbossed. And we're up first. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chondra, Crystal with Nikki, Unbossed, and Nikki. L-A-D-I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first.
Welcome to the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman.
That was amazing.
That's the first time the ladies seen the video. Oh, what's up, y'all? I missed y'all.
That was so good.
Did y'all, real quick though, you know what my favorite part is? When it starts off and then it goes, it gets fuzzy and it's like, and all of a sudden we busted to the that was hot.
Yes, ladies. That's dope.
That's dope. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, okay, can I just say this? Talking about, we know today our show is about shift happen. Can we just talk about? I'm just gonna shout out real quick how Chandra Prophet Ardrey and her family just moved to North Carolina about 24 hours ago and shot on a sequence top.
Wow.
Only shiny.
Where they do that at?
Let me tell you something.
Listen, she got a picture on the wall. Like she moved like 17 seconds ago. She literally
She's got atmosphere.
honey.
Just atmosphere.
You don't even look tired.
I know.
Do
I
I
look
look
tired for you. No.
No.
I look tired for you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Look, we got
Morning.
Rebecca, Mama Watts, Maya, Julie. I am so glad you all found us. Speaking of shifting, Nikki was shifting left and right this morning, getting our new Facebook page up. Y'all, I got hacked. The ladies know my Facebook got hacked. I had to start all over again. And of course, I find myself being on the brilliant end of making my sister's backup of our Facebook pages, but I didn't do it right. So we get to start over. And I think it's such a great way of shifting of what we're talking about today. We get to start over. I want to start off before we get into the topic. We have had a great couple months. End of our August was exceptional. We got invited to Ubiquitous Women's Expo, and we had an opportunity to have a booth, an awareness booth. Shout out to our ubiquitous ladies that are watching us today. We had an opportunity to have an awareness booth. We also had an opportunity to bring our voices and share our sisterhood with a new, amazing group of women. And y'all can jump in anytime. It was just one of the most fulfilling. I want to show y'all this. Look at us.
Oh my God.
Look at us.
Oh my God.
Shout out to John Eric Parker who styled us. Shout out to Shamika and Carrie Ann who are makeup people. Just shout out to them for just making it great. Shout out to Melka. It has just been an amazing time. And we were with the founder, Jermaine. This is us. And a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today was inspired by these amazing women that we had contact with. And we're going to talk about this in a minute. We met this amazing woman named Angie. We're going to talk about t-shirts. We're going to talk about t-shirts later.
I just text Angie. Angie, we on, girl. who we met at Ubiquitous.
Yes, one of the women we met at Ubiquitous. But one of the things that we got to do, because we had really formed a sisterhood with the women at Ubiquitous on a smaller stage, we were invited. We were invited to the big stage. Hey. And we got to share our voice of we make room for women to evaluate where they stand. You know, we make room for women to evaluate where they stand and take action. I want to say that again. The Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman. We make room for women to evaluate where they stand and take action.
Yep.
And
it's powerful.
That just gave me the little cry for the first time saying that, because our show today is all about taking action. I'm going to go ahead and read our little intro. It's been 2 years since the pandemic, and changes are happening. The changes that are happening externally around us are forcing us to make changes internally. I'm going to say that again. The changes that are happening externally around us are forcing us to make changes internally. I always say Lachelle shifts the molecules in the room. Well, we are shifting the molecules in the room. You are shifting, we are shifting, and we are all shifting. I mean, prime example, let's get into it. Chondra and her family, Chondra and her wife, Autumn, and her two beautiful daughters, Callie and Alec, just shifted their lives externally from New York City to North Carolina in what, 24 hours? Talk about it. Tell the people, tell the saints who you are, how you doing. Amen. Let's go.
Listen, praise the Lord, everybody. It's been a minute. Your girl is tired. However, we are in a major shift. And, you know, one of the things that I'm realizing, I say that my first daughter changed my life, right? Tremendously. But I say my second daughter expanded my capacity for change. And because everything just went from little to big, it seemed. And I feel like that's how it is in this shift. Like once I just gave it over to God, the universe, our dreams and aspirations of what we wanted, literally, this has been the smoothest process I've ever experienced. If it be money, needing money for something, if it be, trying to figure out schedules and when something is supposed to be due, or when you should have something by a certain date or whatever. It just, they say when stuff is happening with ease and flowing easy, then you're going in the right direction. Well, I know for a fact that we are supposed to be here because there was not one block. Not one.
Hey.
Amen.
There were hurdles that we created. Just off of like, you know, human being and stopping and being like, oh God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? But every time a way was made, and not hard, not stressful, not, you know, making us feel some type of way. It was just everything happened with ease. We rented out our house. We put our house on the market to rent out. It rented in 24 hours. We got, you know, tried to get a place here where we were looking initially, where God told us to come. We kind of steered from it. And the houses that we were trying to get prior to coming to where we were told to come all fell through. Every one of them, like 5 of them. And then the one that was in the area that we were supposed to do, we got it without a heartbeat. And so I just, you know, I'm the word shift is really, I might put that on my vision board because now in my new office where I am, that I have literally one picture of. But my plan is to put my vision board facing me so I can see it. But I should put the word, you know, shift on there, or open to shift on there, because the way that I just gave over and let the pieces just move me, it's amazing and feels good.
I have one thing to say. 1 down, 3 more to go. I'm gonna get them all down here. Come on.
Now what now?
What now? What now? What
Now?
What now? Say it the New Yorker native who ain't
like sips tea.
Right. It's gonna have to be a good sell for Mike.
We'll work on
it. We love you. We applaud you. Like, we're glad you guys got there safely. And this shift looks real good on you, boo. This shift looks really great on you.
But wait a minute, just before we move from Shani, she looked like this when she was 99 months pregnant. She's like, she just always looks like how do you just be looking fabulous?
No, I have to be, listen, this is what cracks me up about.
Don't look tired, nothing.
I am tired. I literally, our beds are getting put up as we speak. And my plan is to sleep until this time tomorrow.
Wonderful.
When the beds are up.
Amen.
But my joy of this internet, like when we shift and we're in person and we have to tape and all that stuff, I might have a little attitude. I might have an attitude on my face a little bit, because you can't do this when you you can't put on a dress upside down on live TV.
No.
Charlie, please don't do this on. Please don't do this on the first episode.
You shift. She shifted her outfit.
I just want everybody to know that this is really pulled together. This is really pulled together. This is a dress that I cannot fit anymore because of being 99 months pregnant.
Only at the bottom.
Only at the bottom. So I flipped it upside down and put it on as a tank top. I mean, the tube top.
Well, that is definitely a shift.
Praise the Lord.
That is definitely a shift. That's definitely a shift. I want to share something that with our viewers that I've shared, that the ladies know and people close to me know. I have had a major shift in my life. And when we talk about, I didn't bring no tissues. When we talk about the changes happening externally or forcing you to make changes internally, ever since we started the show, I know a lot of our viewers know I've been in a relationship for a very long time. I was in a relationship for 12 years. What during our last season, towards the end of our season, I'm single. I am no longer in my 12-year relationship. And as things have shifted externally, it has forced me to make changes internally. But it's so funny. It was either Crystal or Michelle said something the other day about how sometimes those changes that you get to shift,
Mhm.
you already knew you needed to shift a while back. And sometimes when things happen externally, they force you to have to make the decision. Um, I was in this long term relationship for 12 years. I think a lot of you guys met my partner, um, and good guy. And I am going to be very transparent, and I believe that this showing up to this show every Saturday, not
Mhm.
only just being a part of the Ladies First Chit Chat crew, but also being a viewer and absorbing the wonderful sisterhood and sharing and advice from my sisters and from you, the viewers. I had the strength to put myself first. I came home one time and my partner said to me, um, I, I don't want to get married and I don't want to have children. And I'd heard this before, but I was kind of like, oh, I'm okay. And then he said it again. And I'm at the time I was upset, but right now I'm so grateful for his honesty and his truth, because it made me go. I was singing with Kristen Chenoweth and I came back and I walked into the house and I was like, okay, we've been together for 12 years. If you don't know you don't want to marry me, and you don't know if you don't know you don't want to marry me after 12 years, after I've been prophesizing and uplifting and all that stuff and putting myself in the background, do you know what? I gotta go. I get to go. And I get to shift internally. It's nothing against him. He's a wonderful person. And I'm
Mhm.
gonna be honest with you, since we are shifting, wonderful things have been happening to both of our lives. We are still friends. At the time, it was a very, very tough time. And I'm still going through some emotions and everything. But the shift externally forced me to shift internally. It forced me to start practicing what I talk about every weekend. It started me to start implementing the things that we discuss and say. And
Mhm.
so I am going through a shift. I'm going through a shift. And it's forcing me to look at things so differently. It's forcing me to realize what my favorite color is. It's forcing me to realize, yeah, I'm still in the house and we are still together, but shit, I gotta fucking go. Excuse me, my mama watching. Sorry, I gotta go. You know, and I know that, but I'm also patient. God has given me patience to shift at the right time when I'm supposed to. As a result of this shift, I've been able to receive feedback from my sisters. The other day, I don't want to monopolize conversation, jump in anytime, y'all, but the other
No, go
day,
on.
um, I've been, I think I've been very open about my relationship with money. My relationship with money. I have allowed money to rule my life, to
Mhm.
rule money. I need this to pursue my dreams. I need this, I need this, I need this. And the other day I was having a conversation with the ladies, and I was saying this today. I'm so grateful that Lachelle in her spirit, she picked up the phone, she called me. And it was so funny. All of y'all hit me up that day. Crystal texted me, Nikki Kearney texted me, and Shawnee hit me up. And Lachelle called me and she says, I want you to release this. I need you to shift in thinking about money. And I need you to put into your spirit prosperity and abundance. And I was like, okay. I was like, we got to try something different. And let me tell y'all, I really did shift my mindset in prosperity and abundance. And ever since she said that, and ever since I've shifted, and Rebecca, my chief operations officer, who I adore and love, is watching right now. She will tell you, she has stood by me. Everything has changed.
Yep.
Everything has changed. The patience that I have of staying in this place. The reason Lachelle told me to shift my mindset, because I'm like, money. There's some things that have had to happen that I needed spaces. And guess what? Space opened up for free. I'm
Mhm.
doing an event this weekend and some money wasn't coming through for us to do this space. We got the space for free, you
Yeah.
know? And then also money popped up in my account that I wasn't expecting. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, as a result of the external things in my life shifting, my relationship shifting, it's forcing me to really check in with me, to put myself first. My favorite colors are yellow and pink, and sometimes orange and red. And also, I know where I want to go. I know where I'm going, and I know the people that I want in my life for me to keep moving forward. So I just wanted to share that. I didn't mean to take 20 minutes to say all that.
Listen, we need to hear each little piece of that.
Don't apologize for that. You blessing everyone.
And
but what we forget to think about in shifting or in just moving and shaking period is that we have to shed dead weight. We have our skin sheds off every night.
Yeah.
When you sleep, the old skin repairs itself, right? It falls off. But it's just like in our lives, like we can't accept something that is for us if we are filling the space with something else.
Nah.
So it's like as soon as we start allowing things that should have been gone a while ago, or new things that are it's time, they have expired, it's time for them to go. As soon as those things start dropping off, it seems like God's like, oh, here you go. Let me fill that back up. Let me fill that back up. Let me move that. So
yeah. Well, one of the things that we talked about earlier this week was sometimes you know that things need to change, and it takes a while.
Oh, you muted, Nick.
Oh, sorry. I have my finger on it, so I don't anyway. Sometimes we know that things need to change, and sometimes it takes us a long time to do it, whatever the reason is. And so I guess what was going through my head was what we talked about was sometimes you shift on purpose, right? It's things you want to do. And in your case, Shani, everything, for what it's worth, it sounds like came in alignment, right? Everything you needed when you need it happened so that you could make y'all's dreams come true, right? And look at where you are. And then there's shifts that take you by surprise, right? And that's like Nikki, right? And the beauty of all of it, right, from what I hear, is what's happened on the other side, right? The new blessings, the new joy, the new adventures, the new things that you're introduced to, the new stories of happiness that you can create, right? It's almost like, and then there's sometimes when we're shifting and we're just resisting, right? And we just find ourselves back at that point again. And it's almost like just surrender.
Yeah.
Right? Because what I'm hearing in both instances is that there's beauty on the other side. We just can't necessarily see it when it's not by choice.
Right. It reminds me of I'm thinking about the Rubik's Cube.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people won't even attempt to do anything with a Rubik's Cube. And I think about my youngest son. He could solve, a lot of kids, I guess, can solve the Rubik's Cube in under, 40 seconds or something. But if you think about your life like a Rubik's Cube, it is a constant process of shifting. And the more you shift, the more things align until
excellent example.
Right? That is literally, it is like shift.
I see it.
It took me a half a second, but now I got it.
You get it? Right? So it's like shift.
It's like what I said. That's the visual of what I said. That's beautiful, Shelly. Yes. It's like
I'm trying to, I have one.
You wait till you get all the colors aligned.
Right. But you shift. The only way to
takes a while.
Is the shift. Exactly.
But I think what we're talking about, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying it takes a while, right? For those who don't resist, like my son. He could do it in less than a minute. But those of us who do, it could take us days, weeks, months. But it is the
or never.
If we give up.
Or never.
If it's a constant shifting, eventually it all starts to align one side at a time until the whole thing is aligned.
Yeah.
And I think there's something that scares people. I don't think that it's seen as fear in the moment, but it might be like, I live in New York, I can't move to Atlanta. You may not need to move to Atlanta. You might need to just wake up an hour earlier and journal. Right? Shifting to me is change is inevitable, right? There's every situation in the world, everything evolves, and in love and in life and in our heads and in our emotions, if we act like it's not evolving, it's just not true. So I think I shared with you guys.
Sometimes we want to make it stop.
No, and understood, but then that therein lies the point as well. It's supposed to change.
That's
so
right.
when we I think I was sharing with everyone around my birthday, that's what I was choosing was from a mutual friend of Lachelle and I. She said, Crystal, be water. Water flows, and when water encounters a rock, it just goes. So it doesn't. I can't be water anymore because there's a rock there. That's not what happens. So as the shifting for me, and there varying degrees of what shift is, but what it's been for me is really being in a state of alignment with everything. Like I use this example a lot. Like, what do I feel like eating today? Because that's because I'm not usually a person that wants breakfast. Today I was hungry and I woke up. I'm in Atlanta, and I said, do I want breakfast downstairs in the hotel? I was like, I think I want to go to the store next door. I think I want some cereal. So I went and I bought some cereal. So, but it's the simplest example of saying it doesn't have to be like I want to run a marathon. It doesn't. and we create these things like it has to be that. I really want to say that, my experience in the shifting that I've been making for myself has been easier than anything I've done in my life, because I'm not thinking about anybody but what the hell I want to do. Right? But then I feel like then I'm a happier person. I think I'm a pretty happy person anyway. Fun, cute. I like to have a good time. But like, if I'm not in that space, I can't act like how you doing? I'm good, girl. What's going on? Something has to shift. So, because that's not naturally how I want to be aligned to be. So I say that to say, as you lean into what shifting is and leaning into where it's taking you, you do feel relieved. And Nikki, I can't say, there's certain things that we know about each other so well, but if I were to say to you what I said to you, sometimes we know way before we admit that we know. You embrace what you know, and then you become water with it. It's like that wrinkle in your forehead's not there no more. Because you're not trying to be like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. So, it could, it might be manifesting itself as exhaustion or, oh my God, or, whatever. It's not, oh my God, what am I going to do? You're like, I know what I have to do. This hurts. This is, uncomfortable. Shiny got boxes all over the house, but it's like, oh, it's going to be okay.
Well, it's so funny you said that, the other day when you said, say it again, Christy, you said that about knowing.
I believe we always know. We always know. Whether or not we lean into it is a different at the time, but we can know things for years.
And why is that though? I'm sitting here asking myself that. Is it because you scared? It wasn't scared. You feel like that's just where you're supposed to stay, or it's just so funny. Like, even with, I've heard the money prosperity thing before, but it's funny, back in the day I couldn't accept that or hear that because my Rubik's Cube was out of alignment. My colors weren't in line. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't shifted. And I truly believe making the shift I'm able to hear things better. Whereas before, I might have thought something happened the other day and someone was saying something to me and they were like, Nikki, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I was like, no, I think this is amazing feedback. But a year ago, I might have looked at it like, oh, she's trying to tell me what to do. In reality, that wasn't it, because I was out of alignment and I wasn't in the right.
I will say this, that I think, Crystal is on point when she says we know when the shifts are necessary, even long before we acknowledge them. But what you said is, if I use the Rubik's Cube analogy, the reason we don't respond often, I think, to what we know is because we're not focused on the Rubik's Cube, because that is your life, the Rubik's Cube. You're focused on who's watching you make the moves of the Rubik's Cube.
Or even better yet, forget about who's watching you. You're focused on everything other than you.
But that's your
point. But I'm saying outside of somebody watching you, like for me, you hit it right on the head when you said you stop focusing on the Rubik's Cube, because that is what stops you. Because when you were talking, Nikki, I was thinking, I don't think there is any one silver bullet why you get these hints and things happen. You need to shift, you need to do something different. But there's so many reasons that somebody or any one of us can have why it's not the right time or you're not going to shift right now. But if you just focus on just you and didn't care or think about the impact or anyone else's feelings or thoughts, boy, we would probably really shift a lot.
Yeah, the reason is usually others.
And I agree with you, Shelly. I think, did I know a while back that things were, they weren't bad, but there were some things about me that I needed more. Of course I knew, but I did get caught up with, what would this person say? Or we've been together for this long, or he just lost his leg in an accident. What would people say? Oh no, I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna make it happen. It's been this. I'm Nikki. I'm nice. I do everything for everybody. Yeah. It was all that. And then then all of a sudden something externally happens that forces you to go. And I really believe, I think the pandemic, I think this show, I think y'all, I think the viewers, I think the things that we talk about every Saturday made me just go, I just remember going, okay, so why am I sitting here? Why am I sitting here? And I remember a good friend of mine said to me, are you as happy as I was walking up Fifth Avenue and Chauncey Jenkins said to me, are you as happy as you think you could be? And the floodgates opened up.
Whew, that's a strong question.
So I'm asking
wrong.
Are you as happy as you think you can be? And it doesn't have to be a relationship. I'm talking about God, everything. Are you as happy as you think you could be? And when he said that to me, that was the beginnings of going, okay.
But I just wanted to say, I want to say this to Nikki. This is for all of us, really. I think it's still about, what do I want to eat for breakfast, right? I think it's just so it's, relationships are complicated. They can be complicated, or they don't really have to be. I think at some point, you know what you want, and like this, you'd be like, you lying. I'm good. Oh, this is just part of it. I think your relationships with your children, relationships with your parents, they all have, like, it's ebb and flow, that's for sure. But I do think that you do know, like, this irritates me, or I really love this. I think we always know. Just like I want Cheerios or I want eggs. I don't like eggs. Everybody loves eggs. Eggs are what you eat for breakfast. It's like, yeah, but how about if I like grits and bacon? I don't really want no eggs.
Or pizza.
Yeah, you understand? Or pizza. So I think it's very connected to the feeling. I think I think the feeling of fear governs a lot of this stuff. And you see it in your profession, one of your many amazing professions, as you're ushering people into a new part of their life and their health. They're afraid. They're like, I can't do push-ups. I'm over 60. You know what I mean? Or I can't run a marathon. I have knee problems. And you usher them into a different part of their lives that they couldn't do on their own. I think that the sisterhood, the friendship, good friendships, people who mean well for you, but also have the tools or maybe the heart to help us, we can sometimes hear like, oh wow, this is not unattainable. This is me being afraid. And then you can say, okay, what makes me afraid? Being alone, being, whatever. We all have these things. And my mom would say, well, I don't care about that. It's like, okay, that's not your problem, but this might be. And so when it's that part, it's the, every time I get the Rubik's Cube in my hand, I'm freaked out because all I see is a bunch of colors and everything is a mess, versus somebody else looks at that like, I love untangling messes. I think it connects to what we really don't like to talk about, which is what Lachelle said, the speak what you want part in the song that I said. Really, you say more. You don't really say, you say speak what you want after you ask people what do they want.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Funny. Keisha
So
just
that's
said,
the beginning of this show kind of started with Lachelle asking us that question, and we were like, we don't know.
Keisha just said, it is the fear of the unknown and the thinking that the unknown is always bad. But what if the unknown is amazing? Oof. If we believe the unknown will be amazing, then the shift will be organic. Say it again, Keisha. Edmay says, any shift in any area of our lives involves taking hard step. I think we know what needs to be done, but sometimes just don't have the strength to do it. It is about us, not others. And it's so funny you said not having the strength to do it. That's where support comes in. That's where
absolutely
that's where support comes in. That's where friendship and sisterhood comes in. That's when your sisters know that you ain't right, so all of them hit you up that day in some kind of form, whatever I'm trying to say, to support you. Miss Elizabeth said, the new awareness that you discover within your very being equals freedom. It's so funny. I even told Miss Elizabeth, side note, Miss Elizabeth's over 60 and she can do push-ups. Amen. Because guess who her trainer is? Anyway, that's
Nikki,
a side note.
Nikki, honey.
But I remember when everything happened, people would say, how do you feel? And I said, I feel a hint of sadness, yet I feel free. Well, the sadness is dissipating. I am going through a slight angry phase just because we friends. But yeah, I who else invite? Rebecca said, we know what to expect when we keep doing the same thing. To shift into the unknown is one heck of a big and scary step that we talk ourselves out of. But greatness is often hidden behind that step. And Rebecca knows, I'm gonna applaud Rebecca. Rebecca is a first grade teacher, and she loves teaching. I'm only saying stuff that she shared with people. She loves teaching. She's wanted to be a teacher since she was a kid. And to shout out to my teachers out there, shout out to my educators out there, shout out to the parents. Within the last couple of years, especially with the pandemic, the school system has changed, and and people are overwhelmed. And Rebecca started to she was devastated because the thing that she loved, supporting these kids, it started shifting to something else. And she had something telling her for a while, I need to make a shift. But there was fear. There was fear, or the unknown, like Keisha said. And she stepped in faith, and she took a step, and she decided to take a year off from her job. And she stepped in and became business partners with this girl with the sparkly top on. And it's changing, both of us shifting, is changing both of our lives for the better. And that's what support and love and talking and just,
let me say that you are free, Rebecca. What Rebecca shared, what you just shared about Rebecca and her teaching, a thing that she loved, and what you, Nikki, shared about your relationship, a thing that you love. One sign that a shift is necessary is when something that you engage with that you love starts causing pain.
Ooh, say that again. Wait a minute. Let me type.
So that's a sign, right? Because sometimes, because we're so fearful and because we want to know what's coming, and we never do, but we trick ourselves into believing that we can figure it all out before we take the step. We ignore the natural signs in our connection to things that are saying, hey, it's time for us to shift, right? So when the thing that you loved, right, your career, your relationship, your sport that you're a part of, like when that thing starts causing pain, a shift is needed. And a lot of times, and I'm saying this because I really want people to put this in their pocket, to say, oh, wait, this is a sign, right? This is a flag. This is a confirmation of what I already know long before I'm saying it to myself, right? This thing that I loved and enjoyed is starting to cause me pain, which means some kind of shift needs to happen. And what I think makes people paralyzed in that moment is people often believe that the shift has to be catastrophic. Right? It's like if, for example, if I use Rebecca's teaching example, she may think and keep herself in that space that is causing her pain because she thinks, oh, if I shift this, I have to erase it from my life completely, right? That is not always the case. Sometimes it is the circumstances of, like, I have a friend who's a teacher who's been in the classroom forever, and it really started causing her pain. So she shifted first out for a break. And when she returned, she didn't return to the classroom, but she returned to education. So I want people to know, like, don't write the worst ending to a story when you realize that some sort of shift has to happen. But if the pain is there in an area where it used to feel like love and good, that's a sign that you have to start speaking to yourself about what you know you already feel.
Absolutely. I can give a actual example to that scenario. The example I have is us moving here. We literally, I moved to New York for work, for the feeling, for the vibe, as the kids are saying these days, and that, for me personally, just completely changed. What I came to New York for is gone. There's not a lot of live music venues anymore. There's not a lot of stuff that you can just, as an artist, just get immersed into artistry right now. It's not there, because of the pandemic, because of high rents and stuff. People just aren't able to do it. And I started to feel like what I used to do in New York, like I was never in the house when I first came to New York. I would go and find anything to do, just even be out in the streets, people watching. And I just found myself being more and more in the house, more and more, secluded from things that I loved in the city, and part of the reason that I stayed in New York for so long. And so I was telling my wife, I was like, oh, it's time to go. I'm like, it's time to go. Nothing that was my initial draw to the city is here and keeping me here anymore. So, if I have to work, honey, there's a plane that can get me there, and then you can put me up and pay for a driver to take me where I need to go. But, prior to that, I was just like, it's the atmosphere is just different, and it's not making me feel good. It's making me feel lethargic and tired and like all these things, when it used to make me feel vibrant and just like, oh, let's go. Where you want to go? What you want to do? What you want? Now I'm like, girl, don't call me. Do not call my phone.
That's a perfect example.
So yeah, I understand that. I told my wife, was just like, it's also one of the things that I like, get out while you feel high, like on the high versus the downfall.
You're so low, you can't move. And that happens to us. We try to fight that feeling that is very clear to us for so long that it weighs on us emotionally, and we get so low that it's hard to move. It's hard.
It is. It's hard to move, and you don't realize that's what it is. And Shani just said something that when she said, "Yeah, it's time to go," that's how I felt. You know, of course, when my partner had said that to me, I was kind of like, "Huh." The first time I was in denial, but the second time I was like, "Yeah," you know. And then the day I was like, "I don't have to stay here." It was like that. It was like. When I came in the house, is, you know, I have to be honest with you, every relationship I've ever been in, the man broke up with me. You know, because I would sit too long because I was scared. But I was like, it wasn't just even him saying that to me. I was like, well, you know what? I want to be here. I don't want to be. And when I walked in the house to have the conversation, it wasn't yelling, it wasn't screaming, it wasn't saying, calling each other out of our name. It was just like, I'm done. And he looked at me and was like, and I was like, I'm done. This is not, you're a great person. I'm a great person. We've done amazing things together. I am a little upset we don't have an amputee in this girl no more, but it's all right. I got the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. But you know, it was, and I feel really great. This does get me emotional. I'm a great girlfriend. But guess what? I'm ready to be a great, phenomenal mother effing wife. That's what I want. That's what I'm ready for. That's what I want. And that's what I deserve.
Yes. And you're willing to shift to have it.
Absolutely.
I'm willing to shift to have it. And if I stay, I've gotten the honesty, that's not what's going to happen. And I know what I want. I know what I deserve. And I know what I need. And I know what God has for me. And so I am shifting. I throw out to all of you what my friend said to me. Are you the happiest in whatever it is that you think you can be right now? If there's a pause, or like Shelly said, if there's something causing you pain, you know, or let's take a beat, take a moment. And it's time for us to shift. And let's not shift, like you said earlier.
Just surrender.
Yeah, and surrender.
Just surrender.
But I want us to get.
I really think, like, if you're able to, just surrender. Because one thing that we all seem to forget is when things happen, no matter what it is in our life, we always feel like, oh my God, we don't see the positive. But if you think of almost anything that may have happened in your life, after you got past that moment, what came next?
Something better.
Right. It's easier said than done to just say surrender and let it happen.
Yeah.
But if we do, and we remind ourselves that on the other side, we've experienced some great things in other situations.
And also, if you think about when you didn't shift, when you didn't surrender, you got dragged.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something that's really powerful. Like, let's not act like I'm great, I'm fine, I'm great.
You get dragged because, like the title of this show, this happens. You don't have to make it happen. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And if you don't surrender, if you don't acknowledge what your soul is saying about the shifts that need to happen for you, you will get dragged.
And to your point, Shelly, early in the show, just to like repeat it, you know, shifts don't have to be big shifts.
Not at all.
It can be small. Because here's the thing that I've learned, and I've seen this in my own life, and I've certainly seen this in my coaching practice. If you first admit to yourself, even, you don't have to say it to anyone else, but you admit to yourself that something needs to change. And you do one tiny little shift, literally so many other things start happening without your effort or input in your favor. But you
That's
have
right.
to throw up a sign that you are aware and
That's right.
acknowledging, even if you're scared, you have to throw up a sign that says, yeah, I know this has to change.
That's right.
And you
Can we all say something that we'll do in this, like a small thing?
That will do for change.
To shift?
That's for the viewers too. Viewers, let us know. Throw it in there.
Yes.
Throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat that we're gonna do for change.
Look, I'll do like TikTok. I'll go first.
I go. Oh.
I'll go first. It's just top of mind for me. Is based on the conversation I was sharing with you guys. And I just saw a video. I'm not sure where, but the person was saying that when they train airline pilots, they don't say, don't hit the mountain, don't hit the mountain, don't hit the mountain, because then the pilots are looking for the mountain. And subconsciously, your energy goes towards crashing, right?
And that for 2.5 years.
We know. So
we just got it though.
We just got it
in our own time.
2.5 hours, 2.5 years to get it, ma'am.
Okay, go on.
So I am intentionally shifting to speaking in as much as I can catch it in the positive, instead of that don't hit the mountain way. We whether it's culturally or just not paying attention to the communication style, we do say things that point towards the worst case scenario versus the possibilities of, like, there are people that don't have car accidents. You hear about the few that do. You know what I'm saying? Like, say my son is going into, like, say, taking driver's ed and all of that stuff. So I can talk to him about all the accidents that happen. I can talk to him about the joy of driving.
It's so funny.
And so I feel like that's something that I'm actively looking at right now. How am I speaking when I speak about anything? Anything. Is it, do I have a don't hit the mountain tone? And if I do, I'm shifting out of that. So.
Well, I can honestly say you are doing that, because you left me a voice memo the other day. You started talking. You said, I'm shifting how I'm talking and speaking. And I remember I was smiling. And,
wow.
And you, like, so what you're saying, like, you know,
I'm already doing it. Okay.
You're already doing it.
Yeah.
My coach used to say, one of my coaches used to say, don't false start when I used to run track. And what happens? You're thinking about false start. And my other coach would say, Nikki, get out the blocks. Get out the blocks. And when I train my clients, a lot of times I do not say, don't do this. I go, sit back in your heels. You know, I don't say, don't focus on your knees. I say, sit back in your heels. And I got that from my coach that would say, get out, Nikki.
Love it.
Go ahead, Shelly.
I don't know.
Oh, anybody? Nikki,
every 42 seconds.
What y'all saying? What y'all gonna do this?
I'll go. I am going to, moving forward, I already do it, but I'm going to do it stronger. Is have, I don't know exactly how to put it, but just like a space for people that are dropping, a space of forgiveness for people that are dropping off of me, and a space of, like, you know how, because I don't, you can help me with the words that I'm trying to say here, but, like, you know how, like, when people are leaving your life, you kind of have like a little grudge against them or whatever. I'm trying to find a word to say, like, I love you. This is what you were here for, whatever time you were supposed to be here for. There's no hard feelings. And, like, it's not even nothing that I have to say to them. It's just something that I'm trying to have for for myself. And so I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Called a peaceful release.
Yes. I'm trying to find a peaceful and forgivenessful
Forgiving. Peaceful
release.
release.
Yeah.
Mine. I have a couple. I'll be quick. I'm not a micromanager. And I think sometimes when people first meet me, they think I am, because I want to do everything. And I do that because I'm so used to doing everything. And I also watch my amazing mother do everything. And I don't want her to do everything anymore. And she's getting great at that. I'm going to continue to lean in to the amazing support system that I have overall in my life. I'm about to cry. The creation of this show, us getting together last week. I didn't tell y'all, it's so much to me, and how we got together and took our strengths and split them up, and how we're going to continue to move this show forward. And Shawnee, last night, the only reason I didn't text you because you just moved, but I need help with this t-shirt on this square. Because Maya hit me up. You can't buy multiples at one time, but we'll talk about that later. But I'm going to continue to lean in to the people around me that support me. I thank Rebecca for coming on board and showing me I don't have to do everything. I thank y'all for coming and showing me I don't have to do everything, because I don't want to do everything. So I'm going to continue to lean into that. And I'm also going to continue to follow prosperity and abundance. I want to move. And instead of saying what I used to say, I'm going to continue speaking and walking and believing and waking up every morning and being grateful in prosperity and abundance. Because that spot that I'm looking at on 63rd Street, you never know. Either God's going to shift something and it's going to be an even bigger place with an even lower price, or somebody might just say, you want to stay here for free for a year? Hey, come on. Or better yet,
It's not far-fetched. You laughing, but it ain't far-fetched.
Or better yet, some amazing opportunity for Gifted with Nick gonna come in, and that prosperity and abundance gonna make me be able to choose anywhere I want to live.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought of something. There's one thing I want to say, because I think people don't know what it means to focus on prosperity and abundance, not related to money. So I'm going to give a tiny example. So, Hurricane Ian came through North Carolina last night, all day yesterday. It was storming and crazy and the whole 9 yards. And so, I'm home and my family in their resident places, and my sister calls and then my mama calls and they're like, we ain't got no power. Right. And Murdy was like, I'm just going to bed. I said, okay. Right. And Keisha was playing games with the girls or whatever. And I'm sitting in my house with the power. And as I'm sitting on the couch watching TV, listening to Ian outside my door, I'm like, look at the abundance of electricity I have. That is literally abundance, right? And I just wanted to give that example. And I lost power twice for about 14 seconds each time, and it came right back on. And so I just want to give people an example, and I'm going to try to do that most of our shows so people understand what prosperity and abundance is, not related to money. Okay, so I was abundant in power, and I was prosperous in being able to do everything I wanted to do in my house last night, even though a lot of North Carolina lost power. Okay, that's that. So here's one thing I'm going to shift. I don't know if anybody even knows this, but I didn't always eat as good as I should. So I spent a lot of time figuring out what not to eat because it wasn't good for my body. And I eliminated those. But then I've been in this place of, but what do I eat? Right? So I'm over here eating a very small menu of things that I know are good for me, but that's all I know. So what I'm going to do, and I pulled out, if I would get up, I'll show you, but I'm going to once or twice a week actually make a recipe, a food, a meal from a recipe book that is good for me, because now I kind of know the things, but I never took time to learn how to make them. I'm going to take a recipe once or twice a week and actually make myself a meal full of things that are healthy for me, that I can, so that I can expand, make a shift in expanding my palate and helping support my body and being healthy. So that's a big shift for me because one, I don't like to cook. But I realize it's necessary because inside is saying, girl, you got to cook, right? And then two, I could think of 1,400 other things to do with my time, but I know that this is a shift that my spirit is calling for. So I'm going to do that.
I love it.
Me too. Ish.
Oh, I love it.
I don't really love it, but I'm going to do it.
Miss Elizabeth said we're gonna wrap up in a few, everyone. Yes, Shelly, I too felt the same emotion, how grateful I was for having my power not taken away from me. Yes.
Amen. Abundance.
Nick, you got anything you want to share?
Well, there is an area, I mean, there's a couple areas, but there's one area I know I need to shift, but I don't know exactly how. I have a tendency to give a lot and even do. Like even something happened at work this week and somebody finally said to me, Nikki, why are you doing this? And he was like, I get it. I'm not even saying you're wrong because what you're saying is right, but why are you doing it? I was like, because they're not doing it and it needs to get done. It's the right thing to do. So if I looked at just the situation itself, how do I figure out a way to share what I see, but I guess empower other people to be able to either see it too and or execute it? I need to figure out, and that would allow me not to put so much energy out in so many things where I'm just depleted every day. I mean, I go back to back all day long, and I would say most of my day is helping other people think about what they need to do. And they don't even notice it. I didn't really notice it. But that's really what I do. And then I help them physically, like I'll stay on a call until 6, 7 o'clock showing them how to do it. I'm like, all right, now you need to do this. Now you need to do this. And now you're going to follow up and you're going to go do it. This kind of thing. It's very different than other people I work with. I don't like what they do either. A lot of people demonstrate their greatness and things that they create, but the bottom line in terms of results and things that they put up are not the same as what I do. But I need to figure out a way to take what I do and make other people powerful with it.
So, Nikki, are you saying that your shift is to allow people to figure things out?
I mean, what I said at the beginning.
Kind of let go of feeling like you have to.
No, I'm not sure how I need to shift, but that's what I said at the beginning. But I think the shift is taking what I see and helping others to either be empowered to see it as well and or empowered to help them execute. Even if it doesn't have to be my way, just to be able to see what I see so that they see a broader picture.
You know what I think she's doing, y'all?
Because what I think people don't always look at things that way.
Go ahead.
You know what I think, Nikki? I think she's created a space for me.
What?
I think she is creating a space for me.
Yeah. Well, I need to. So in all of that, that's the point, because I end up being depleted and I'm doing more work than I need to. And it's actually other people.
So in general, you're saying you need to create a space for yourself to not feel like you have to.
But I think that's the benefit of it. The focus of it is how to shift in a way that I'm not doing all the work.
Right. And I was going to suggest to you, Nikki, that your focus of the shift is not about them, it's about you. Right? Like not what they were saying, I got to figure out how to empower them. You do not.
Yeah, it's not about me, it's about them. It's like, how do I, just because I see it, just because I can tell you how to do it, doesn't mean I have to do it, right?
Or you even have to make them see it.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. I have to empower them to be able to see what I see so that they can go execute it on their own or figure out how they want to do it. I can't be the one that sees it, everybody agrees with it, and I do it. So the shift for me is figuring out how I, like I don't need to do the whole equation.
No, you can just
So,
give the vision and walk away.
and that's hard for me.
Right. That's where you want to work. I get it.
Yeah, I
That's
stay
that's a
connected,
good
and
thing
that's
to
what I'm
focus on.
saying. The shift, yeah.
That's a good
I,
thing to focus on.
I think it's an
I
excellent thing to
do,
focus.
because even this week I heard from 3 people, like, other people that do the same thing I do. They're like, I don't work with anybody like you, you know.
Because you're Nikki
And
Unbossed, honey.
it was a compliment. But the truth is, I shouldn't do all that I do, right? Yeah.
Right.
But there's so many other
Right.
things that go into that. Like, it's hard. I do everything with heart. I care a lot, that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the shift that needs to happen is I need to figure out how I take what I see and do and empower more people to be able to do it. It's different when I'm coaching somebody, because I could tell them and then I could follow up with them and say, okay, did you do it? Okay, you didn't do it. So let's talk about, what you need to do. But when you're actually working with people and you're supposed to be working as a team, my team will not fail. Right. Because I will do a number of different things along with delegating as well. But that's the shift that has to happen. I have to hold people accountable for the things that they need to do and just give them the perspective that helps them see a bigger picture.
Love it. I think we get to work on these shifts. I hope our viewers at home are, really sitting and thinking about what little step I get to do to go towards what I want to do. Because we all know what it is we want to do. We all know what it is what we want, and sometimes we don't. I feel like we do. We're just afraid to say it, afraid to put it out there. But I think one thing that can inspire you to keep doing that, go buy a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have these t-shirts, y'all, that are sayings from the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. I want to put this out here before we wrap up. And they were designed by Miss Unapologetically Great herself, Chondra Prophet Ardrey. And what the shirt at the top, putting me first in the midst of it all. Whose saying is that? And then there's lose the plot and find your joy. Guess whose saying is that? Unapologetically great. We all know who that is. I'm so dope with the big curly hair. And then creating a space for me. Go to the Ladies First Chit Chat Crew.com page. You'll see LFCC t-shirts. Go buy one. And I'm gonna get Shani to help me so you can buy multiple shirts at one time. Right now, you can only buy 3 smalls under each one, but we're gonna get that fixed. But go buy a shirt today. Go buy a shirt today. We're gonna get it fixed. You're gonna come back. Thank you for shifting with us. We've been shifted. I want to shout out. We just did a photo shoot, and I want to shout out Mr. Christian Dante White and Josh Drake and Al Scott, aka Scotty, and of course John Eric Parker and our amazing makeup artists and hair people for supporting us with our new photos. And I'm gonna
Thank
just
you.
let y'all sit on this one right here.
Yes.
And we are back. We are shifting. We are shifting the molecules in the atmosphere in the room. We encourage y'all to keep rocking with us. Thank you for being so patient with us. Shani put up there, we do have a new Facebook page. I'm going to keep putting it out to everyone in our emails that we have. Thank you for shifting with us at the last minute. But go follow us. We still have our Wonder Woman Need Love 2 page, but there are some big things that are going to be shifting in the Ladies First Chit Chat crew starting now. And we want y'all to go with us as we continue to shift. We continue to make room for women to evaluate where they stand and inspire them to take action. I love y'all. I love y'all. Anybody want to say anything before we rock out of here?
See you next week.
See you next week.
Hold on. Can I do a quiet plug?
Sure.
Just real quick. Get Fit with Nick got a class coming. Y'all can go to getfitwithnick.com. I'll talk more about it. I got a
Why
class.
gotta be quiet?
Look, can I do a quick plug? Get Fit with Miss. You heard me say Miss Elizabeth's over 60 and she's doing push-ups. Come join my Zoom class. It's going to be 3 days a week. A couple of ladies on here are already taking it. We start in 2 weeks on October 11th. I'm going to have it out there. But let me tell y'all something. Y'all better buy it now because the price is going up. The price is going up. Why? Because I am shifting.
That's right. And everything will shift with you.
And everything will shift with me. We love y'all. Have an amazing Saturday. An amazing, amazing Saturday. Think about what it is, where you going, where you want to shift, and we will see y'all soon.
Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. Time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want, unbossed. Speak what you want, unbossed. Speak what you want, unbossed. And we're up first.
Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great.
And we're up first.
Yes, ladies.
That's dope.
Yes, ladies.
That's dope.
Yes, ladies.
That's dope.
And we're up first.
It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. Time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew.
One time for the ladies in the house. 2 time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chondra, Crystal with Nikki, Unbossed, and Nikki.
L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first.
Oh, I like the indie.
I love
Thanks for
that
hanging
video.
watch, y'all. Bye, y'all. Have a good day.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.